Have you ever noticed how experience itself is a form of meditation? Sounds kind of crazy, man, but I started thinking this morning, I'm like, bro, you know, experience is a form of meditation. Because think about meditation. When you think about meditation, you think about someone who's just like sitting there quietly, their legs are crossed, their eyes are closed, they're breathing deeply. But at its core, meditation is simply the practice of creating space. And it's that gap between the stimulus of whatever the current situation is and how you respond to it. That space is everything. That space is what allows you to stay calm, to think, to move with intention, instead of reacting out of some sort of raw emotion. Experience does the same thing. This is why I say experience really is a form of meditation. Because think about it like this. When you're new to something, the freak outs are immediate, right? Whether you're a new manager, a new parent, a new driver, like you just got the keys to the car, you're a new homeowner. When something happens, you freak out. You overreact because everything seems urgent. Everything seems like a fire. Why? Because you don't have any experience yet. So the uncertainty and the new adversity, like you don't know how to process this. You don't know how to handle this because you have no experience. It's all brand new to you. So you got to get experience. And sadly, hate to tell you, the only way to get experience is through experience. You can't borrow it from anybody. You can read about it, but you can only read about it like to get an understanding, like what other people have gone through. And sometimes I think that's what's good is because you realize, oh, I'm not the only one, or my situation's not that bad. So you can read about other people's experiences and how they dealt with it, but the only way you're truly going to gain experience for yourself and be equipped for the future is you got to live it. That means you got to sit in the tension instead of escaping from it. You got to resist the urge to blame others or hand it off or say, that's not my monkey, not my zoo. It's not my wheelhouse. It's above my pay grade, man. Man, I ain't got nothing to do with me. Truthfully, you're scared. And so you just immediately blame someone else for it or throw more confusion at the situation. So you just like pour gas on it. Or you just say, man, they ain't got nothing to do with me. Go see so-and-so. That's what he makes the big bucks for. And bro, you're never going to get any better at life. You're never going to get any stronger at situations because you blame it or you delegate it all away. You want to create freedom. You want to create independence. You want to create value to yourself and the marketplace and the world for that matter. You got to have experience. But it's not just experience for experience's sake. It's learned, productive experience. It's not that you're going to hit a 10 every single time. It's that I have the willingness to sit in the tension and to try to come up with a solution. I try to figure it out on my own. That experience is going to transform you. When you sit there and you resist the urge, the fight, flight, or freeze, when you resist that urge to run away or delegate or blame, you get that experience. And when you subject yourself enough times to this, things begin to happen for you. You begin to widen that space. It's the same space that meditation builds. This is why I say experience is a form of meditation. At first, you freak out. But then, as you sit in that tension, you slow things down. You literally breathe through it. You don't just spew off at the mouth or react. You like What are my options? Okay, what it is I have to do. It's kind of like what quarterbacks do in Mayday situations. They have a mental checklist, a mental Rolodex they go through, and they just work through these different situations, and they're actually able to slow the field of play down and work through their options. It's the same thing you got to do. Experience is a form of meditation. I think Steve Magnus in his book Do Hard Things put it perfectly. He says experience develops the capacity to flexibly modulate. Love that. Flexible and modulation, meaning you can bend, you can adjust. Modulate means that you're controlled, that you have influence over. So you're able to flexibly modulate automatic reactions to an aversive event. Aversive means you don't like it. You have a lot of opposition to it. All right, I got to use my experience to find a solution. When you modulate, you're flexible in thought, you're flexible in action, and you modulate, you learn to bend instead of break. You're not rigid, you're not reactive, you're not defensive. You start adapting. And you adapt from a position of strength instead of panic. You just work through. I mean, have you ever seen somebody, think of someone who just seems unflappable, whether it be in the public face and the press is all on them and the pressure's there, or an athlete, or even maybe, somebody you work for or work with, and they just, in the situations, they just seem like made of steel. You're like, God bless, man. I wish I was that unflappable. They have the same emotions that you do. You just don't see it. What they've done is they've trained themselves to increase the capacity to get triggered, to feel the stimulus. But because they've accumulated experience and they're very conscious about that, they work through that mental Rolodex and they're seeking to find a solution. And so even though the situation may not be the same, it's similar, or they can just draw from the experience they've had before and apply it, adapt it for this current situation. And this is what I find is really unique about experience. You can't drain experience with experience. Meaning that you can draw, when you draw on experience, think about drawing out of your checking account. When you draw out of that checking account, you draw 100 out of there, 100 ain't in there. You're $100 less. But with experience, it's different. You can draw on that experience and use it and apply to your situation for a solution. And with that, you have new experience. So the experience that you originally drew from is not only put back in, but it's actually compounded. It's reinvested. That's the trippy thing about experience. You can't exhaust it. When you use it in the right way and you lean into additional uncomfortable situations, you lean into the adversity. I don't know what the answer is. I don't know. I've never been in this situation, but let me draw from my experience and figure out what are my options here. What can I do? You take control of your situation. You're not a victim. And you work through these situations. You discover things. You get more experience. You apply it to your experience account. And that meditation, that space, it increases. And sometimes when I say space, it's more so, it's not like, oh, it's going to take me 2 hours to figure this solution out. It's that mental space that you're able to quickly work through these situations in your mind and say, I'm going with this one. And so sometimes you have solutions. Sometimes you just have outcomes. And the outcomes may not have been the solution you hoped for. But with that experience, you learn how to recover. You learn from it. You reapply it. It's beautiful. Experience is beautiful. You got to have experience. The only way you're going to get better at anything is you got to subject yourself to it. You do. And the more you subject yourself to it, and the tougher they become, and you have an awareness of leaning into these things, the marketplace, the world will react by not only gravitating to you, but damn it, they will pay you handsomely for it, because you can do things that most people can't. Why? Because you've learned that experience is a form of meditation. So how can you use this? This is what I want to bring your awareness to. Like, what's a situation that you just kind of like passed off to someone else, or that you confused by just blaming? You just poured gas on the fire. You just started laying blame, or you played victim. So what of those situations that come to mind that you can revisit and this time sit in the tension and work through it? Keep your mouth shut. Stop blaming. Just work through it. Figure it out. Even if it's not your role, even if it's not your responsibility, it is your responsibility. It's your ability and your opportunity to bring value to the marketplace, to the world. Really, you become that glue guy. You become that go-to person. You want to be more of one of those people? And bro, there's a confidence inside of you that when I had the choice to bail, when I had the choice to delegate it to someone else, fuck no. I'm going to figure this thing out. I'm not going to ask the question. I'm going to get to a point that I absolutely cannot figure this out. But until then, you will find that with that space, that meditation, and you just remind yourself, experience is a form of meditation. Okay, what are my options here? What do I have? What can I use? What can I use now physically? Or what can I use mentally that I've been through before? What have I read about and now can experience? What are those things, right? So can you revisit some of those things? And if you cannot, you're still going to have an opportunity. More's coming to you. So the next time, this is why I bring you this episode, the next time you have an awareness to that situation and you're ready for it. I got to increase that bandwidth. I got to increase that space. And the more you do this, the better you're going to get at it, because you're going to have experience. And because experience is now a form of meditation for you. I told you in episode 961 of Tenacity, if you have not heard it, go back and listen to it. And I said the next episode was going to be on resistance. It's still coming. I just came up with this morning. I haven't recorded the resistance one. And so, but I came up with this one, and I have to share it. One thing about me is, like, as soon as I come up with something, like, I have this insatiable burn to get it out there and to share it with you. And that's exactly what this is. All right. I am coming with resistance. It will be the next one. I'm not going to write anything else until I come out with the resistance one. All right. With that, please share this episode. Also, leave a rating and review if you can. This helps get the word out. Just like a restaurant, people are shopping for podcasts. They need something to listen to. Why do you keep coming back to What's Your Problem, the podcast? All right. 962 is in the bag with that. Stay amazing. Keep it simple. Keep it moving. Never settle. Stay tough. Peace.